the world that you lived in terms of dealing with protectees and the world that I spent a long time in counterterrorism operations. I mean, we're both faced with the same problem, right? Which is you can't afford a failure. You got to get it right all the time, right? And the bad guy, whether it's a terrorist organization or a lone wolf, attempting an assassination, they just need to be right one time. And so. But that doesn't, again, that doesn't excuse what's going on. I'm just saying that there's complexities here that sometimes get lost in the initial, rush to, unfortunately, to judgment. But I think everybody saw, like we mentioned earlier on in the discussion, so many people have watched this that I'm always the first to say you got to let the investigation run its course. You got to allow the time for the facts and the evidence to develop. This is one of those really odd moments in time where people saw what they saw, and people with absolutely no experience can make a judgment that says, how did they not cover down a building that close with line of sight? And then, by the way, how did they get advance information about this suspicious person, not hold off and getting the president out there, the former president out there? How did they spend so much time deciding go, no go on taking a shot on the shooter? What are all those things? Now, people are, it's human nature, right? People are going to jump to conclusions. But again, in this case, they're helped along in that process by a lot of information coming out almost immediately after the fact, rather than waiting for the Secret Service to discuss this case. I go back to the same thing again, which is I am shocked, not just by the events of Saturday, but I am shocked by the ineptness of the Secret Service director and ultimately their oversight, the DHS, and I think that could be a problem too. That they've been subsumed by DHS in terms of crisis management and understanding the importance of dealing with this issue immediately. Your thoughts, obviously, very welcome.
Yeah,
there.
well, in our former businesses, you never wanted to intersect politics with our job. We did our job. We followed the evidence bereft of fear or favor. We did our jobs so long as it was a lawful order we were given. We acted on behalf of the U.S. government. We followed the mission. We did what we were supposed to do. But I don't know about your experiences in your previous life, but I retired 8 years ago, and I have noticed that there have been distractions, and whether or not you want to argue about DEI or the fact that the U.S. military, as well as federal law enforcement and all the agencies, all the acronyms out there, right? They're all now so beholden to things that are so far from what they used to be focused on. It's no longer a meritocracy. And again, I'm not going to impugn the agents that were there. There were a number of them that rushed to the sound of the gun, piled on top of the former president, put their body between the president and a 223 round. That is admirable, honorable. Those are true heroes. But are the best of the best being assigned to these details? Or are we checking boxes? And I'm sure your listeners can read between the lines on that. I think the frustration is or was the Secret Service director the best person for the job? Or, as the New York Post has reported, was she selected because she served when Vice President Biden's wife was the second lady, and she served on the detail protecting the second lady, and now the second lady, who's the first lady, decided that this person is the best person and pushed to get her hired? Again, that's
James. James, she may be the first lady, or she may be the acting president at this point. We're not really clear on that.
I was trying to be kind.
Yeah, no, I know, and I very much appreciate that, because I think that's that is important. We are trying to ensure that we tone down the temperature, But I agree with you, right? I think from my perspective, I don't give a rat's ass about DEI, right? What I care about is, particularly in operational roles or roles involving the security and the protection of others, you get the best candidate. It's so simple, right? Get the best candidate. And so if that means that your best candidate is I don't. Again, I could care less what their gender or what their ethnicity or who cares? If after a battery of tests and an assessment, you've decided that is your best, great, hire that person. If they're not, then don't hire that person. It is so basic. And okay, fine. You want to have a different activity in the business world? Great, Godspeed. But we're talking about a different world, and whether we're talking about the law enforcement or the intelligence business. Operational world, military, whatever it is, we got to get our minds right on that issue.